Feeling better?
Yeah, that's a pretty neat bandage.
Had to use my petticoat. I'll get him some water.
Cassie, don't you get too friendly with him now. You hear?
You took a nasty tumble. I'm John Callaby, my son, Chloe. I'm Christopher Cobb. Cobb? We've had that name even here. You're building a new right at Georgetown.
Yeah, I was on my way to Sydney when the storm broke.
What's the matter?
My money belt.
You see anything of a money belt?
If I had it, I got it back.
Your clothes ought to be dry. Come and have some supper. And that tea ought to be ready now, Cassie, eh?
Thank you for a very nice dinner, Cassie. It's a mighty comfortable place you've got, Mr. Carraby.
Well, I've managed to save a few things from better times, Mr. Cobb. And I still write a little.
Landon's Way and fast flows the river. You must have heard of them, Mr. Cobb.
Yes, of course. I thought the name Carraby was familiar. A couple of very good novels.
Oh, 3. And a volume of poetry.
But that never got published.
How I used to love him reading to me when I was a little girl.
Oh, cut it out, Cassie. Go fetch the tea.
Can I take a look at these, Cassie?
Oh, no, they're nothing. Just a few rough sketches. I don't draw very well. They're awful, don't you think?
Well, if you pour that good Billy Can tea into that silver thing, I never will tell you.
The sign of a real bushman. Pour it the way it is, Cassie.
How long have you been designing these?
Oh, I've always wanted to make, well, plain girls look pretty by giving them lovely clothes that they can afford.
Well, that's a good idea, Cassie, but some girls don't need fancy clothes.
If I could just go to Sydney and learn how to really make...
Chloe. You know, Cassie's never really been away from here. Her folks drowned when the river flooded 15 years ago, and I've done the best I can looking after her. Now Chloe will take over any day soon and be living here with me.
I do like the sketches, Cassie.
Cassie, pull me some. Look at that.
You all right, Cassie?
Yes.
Storm season. Let's get some fresh air.
I'll be leaving in the morning. That is, if I can trade my lame horse for a good one.
Why, after this rain, you wouldn't reach Sydney by horse for 2 weeks.
No?
How about trading it in for a dugout? You could follow the river down as far as Wobber Creek in a couple of days.
Well, sounds fine to me.
You had much experience with boats?
Some.
Come on. You can take Cassie's. It's an outrigger.
Should handle just like a regular canoe?
Well, you'll be poling most of the way. The other end's for poling. His hand's for keeping off trouble.
What kind of trouble?
There's a lot of queer creatures in this country, Mr. Cobb. And half of them seem to live in this river.
Well, I guess I'll take my hand and my headache to bed. What do you think you're doing?
Please, I must talk with you. It'll only take a minute.
Well, can't it wait till morning? Is that bad, huh?
I only want to ask you one simple question.
Well, I guess that's getting off pretty lightly. What is it?
When you leave in the morning, will you take me with you?
Take you with me? Well, Cassie, I can't
I must get away from here, please. Just as far as Sydney, and I can manage...
Will you be quiet and listen to me?
Yes, Mr. Cobb.
You've got to understand, I just can't be taking you away with me. You're a young girl, and I'm a... Well, you belong here, not with me.
You hit him.
Hmm?
You hit Cloy. Not even Uncle John ever did that for me. He thinks Cloy's like he is. He wants to think that, but...
But what?
Sometimes I think Cloy's mean, not so much to hurt me, but Uncle John. Mr. Cobb?
Yeah?
You seem like a man with good schooling. Where?
Did you ever hear Harvard?
No, what's that?
In the States. It's a pretty good school.
Did it help you to manage your stage line business?
Well, sure, of course.
Well, and how do you think I can be a good designer unless I studied a good school, too?
I guess that would help. But you are not going to put that responsibility on me, young lady, and I am not going to take you with me in the morning. Now, you've got to get out of here.
Oh, but I wouldn't be any trouble, and I won't cost you anything. I have money. I have. Look, see? And I can pay for my studies, too.
Where did you get this? Cassie. Well, I can't believe that you wanted to get away that badly.
I told you I heard her in here, and him offering her money to go away with him.
No.
What are you doing in here?
But she wasn't doing anything. She just came in to ask me about schools in Sydney.
And were you paying her to listen?
That's my money. I wanted him to take it for some...
Where did you get it?
Chloe gave it to me.
Is that true, Cassie?
The girl doesn't lie to me.
Well, I wanted to send her away to buy a silk dress I've been saving.
What, my money?
You liar.
When did you start saving, Chloe? When did you start? Stand up! Your father was a proud man once. If need be, I'll strip every inch of thick hide from your back to make you remember it.
The one to blame is yourself.
Whatever I am, you made me. You're my son. Act like it.
Uncle John.
Go to your room.
Well,
Surrounded by all the wisdom of the world. All man's knowledge. And I still can't handle my own son.
well, knowledge always needs a little something to go with it, doesn't it, Mr. Carabee? Like understanding. Cassie.
I must talk to you. Please, wait a minute.
Well, come on up here. Drift up to me. Now, young lady, what do you think you're doing?
I've been waiting since last night.
Didn't you hear a word I said to you?
I can't go back again. Not now.
What do you mean?
Well, I was writing a note to Uncle John last night about how I felt and why I must get away, and
Yes?
Chloe came in before I was finished.
And?
Well, the last thing I'd written was about you. Then I ran to hide from Chloe.
What was in the note, Cassie?
Oh, I don't know. Just that I've never met anyone like you before. That I'd found you were a real man, and
And then?
that's all.
You mean that's all you wrote?
Well, I told you Chloe came in before I could finish.
Oh, great.
What are you doing?
Cassie, I had good enough reason to want you home before, but now I really have. Turn this thing around.
Please.
I'm gonna send you right back to your uncle. Use that paddle.
Oh, but I can't go back. Not now. Not after what I've done.
Well, we're going to undo what you've done. Now stop this nonsense and come on.
Water snakes. They're poisonous. Let's get out of here.
Cassie, look out! Come here. Come here, Cassie. Come to me. Come to me. Come here, man. That's right. Come over here. Here. You all right? Your boat was meant for me. Relax. Cassie, wake up. Which channel do we take?
Oh, you're right.
put you ashore. Cassie, couldn't find the gun.
What are you doing now?
Gonna get you home. We've lost enough time already. Come on, get in the boat.
Would things be different if I were older?
What things?
Well, I'll be 18 in June. That's not too long. Will things be different then?
Well, they might be.
I remember.
Now, you come on. Mr. Carabee, I know how this must look to you. But the letter that Cassie wrote...
Yes, the letter, Mr. Cobb. Should I read it to you? Dear Uncle John, I don't want to hurt you, but I cannot stand it here any longer. Especially now since Mr. Cobb came. I found out he's a real man.
Well, it wasn't Mr. Cobb's fault. I never got to finish the note. Chloe came in.
Yes, Chloe. Let's all heap our own shortcomings on his head. And our lies.
I was bringing Cassie home. Doesn't that prove something?
It does, Mr. Cobb. Home is that way. You were heading for Sydney.
What are you doing here, then?
Followed you. Give me that gun. Give it me.
Your son seems ready to do almost anything to get a girl who doesn't want him.
Cassie, look out! Cassie!
You read me in your books. Well, Mr. Cobb was the sort of man you always wrote about. Kind and thoughtful. He wanted to take me back home, but I showed him the wrong way because I couldn't. Chris, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
It's not good to know that I've failed them both.
Well, you haven't yet.
Do you really think she has this talent for designing?
Well, didn't you believe in your ability to write? Why not give her a chance to find out? I know a family in Sydney who'd be happy to take her in, look after her.
Then take her. Before I get selfish again and change my mind. Come on, Cassie. Well, so long, Cassie.
Goodbye, Uncle.
Chloe's the one who needs me now. And I should have read more to him, too. Now I guess it's too late. Oh, I don't think it's ever too late to give him a little understanding. Yeah.